Well, from my own experience, I mean, practically speaking, I enrolled my son in school in Lagos, one of the schools right there on the island, and of course, you know, these classes, the schools, they have the general audience, general subjects and everything. But I observed that my son was struggling in one or two subjects, right? And, you know, in as much as the school was trying to offer general interventions through general lessons and classes for people in this category too, I found out that he wasn't relating with them because it was a group, right? But when I employed a private tutor, right, and I can even remember their names, certain Mr. Chigozie, and the subjects where he had deficiencies were in maths, economics and chemistry, for example. And you know, it became a different experience, right, even from the get-go, because starting from even reviewing his classwork, right, and his homework and all of those things, we started noticing immediate improvements because he now had the opportunity to sit one-on-one with a tutor who basically was able to attend to his very unique needs, right? So it was obvious to me that, you know, the impact of private tutoring as compared to group classes and all of that, when you're trying to bring a specific intervention to a child, right, is quite, to be honest with you, is extremely very good. And it's the same that I see all around me, right? So for example, a lot of the parents that I know around me, they also have a similar private tutoring activity based on specific needs that their children have. And all around me, the reports that we have is that it has helped the child significantly. So any day, anytime, I think the experience that the child gets, right, from private tutoring for specific interventions, right, is much more effective than what they're getting in a group setting like they have in school, in a class. Significant difference because again, you would have in the school setting, right, a number of pupils, right, in class. But I think my son similarly enjoyed the one-on-one experience, and we could tell the visible impact it had on him in terms of how he engaged, because now he knows that he's able to stop Mr. Chigozie and ask questions, right? That's something, because of his own personality type, he wouldn't do in an open class setting, for example. And I think that has made it easy for him to also, you know, improve his engagement level, right? So off the back of that, now we're able to ask him to, right, you know, go back to school and engage your teachers in XYZ subject the way you talk to Mr. Chigozie. So I think Mr. Chigozie used to encourage him to ask questions because, again, keep in mind that it's a one-on-one experience. And I think that one-on-one experience actually helped him to improve how he engaged with other teachers in school. And of course, it improved his overall academic outcomes. Again, there's a personality angle to this, and you know, children, they vary, their personality vary, right? He's not the very forward type, right? But because he was able to be called out of his shell, right, it made it easy for him to start engaging directly with people, with teachers and all that. So definitely the engagement improved primarily because of what he experienced during the home tutoring activities. The biggest challenge was scheduling, right? So, and scheduling also because of logistics. So for example, typically my kids would leave home 6 a.m. in the morning, right? Because of their distance of the school to home. And so when we're trying to set up home tutoring, right, we have to take the logistics and schedule of their arrival and departure time, right, into account. And so what we had to do was that we had to schedule the private tutoring lessons to be much later in the day, right, when they're back from school, they've rested. And at some point we also try to do like a hybrid of both physical lessons, right, and also online lessons for the private tutoring. So that was how we were able to sort of like address the challenge that came from the scheduling. But all in all, I think, you know, we found a rhythm that worked for the child, right? And we also spread it across maybe 2-3 times in a week so that it would not be too overwhelming, so that we could balance the situation with the school activities, the school schedule, and his own private tutoring schedule, which to a large extent, helped him to be able to augment those areas that he had deficiencies, right? Leveraging the schedule that we provided, of course, in agreement with the tutors, and then also taking that back to his learning experience on those subjects in school, which we saw the improvement. So that was the balance we had to have between the logistics of them going and coming from school, and then having to sprinkle their private tutoring activities at hours that could be convenient for both the tutor and himself. I think for considering the fact that we live in a unique environment, right? Considering the peculiarity of the environment, children will go to school. Sometimes they go to school bus. Sometimes they go to pick them, and even if they have after school lessons, right? You still want them to be able to get back home, right, on time. Right, so that singular fact compels a lot of parents who want to, myself inclusive, right, to prefer the home tutoring option, right, above the private, the extra lessons in school, because whatever it is that they want to teach them in school, I can easily have the home tutor, right, engage one-on-one. Again, like I mentioned earlier on, the advantage and benefit of having the tutor engage one-on-one with him is priceless, considering the fact that what they offer them in school is still a group type of intervention, right, whereby teachers are speaking to a group of whether 10 or 15 students. So definitely my preference would be for the home tutoring above the school extra lessons, because number one, I want the kids to be back home on time, right? Considering the fact that deteriorating in the environment, I don't want to keep them in school for too long, because they're also going to get up next to go to school, and I can schedule their private tutoring activities at a time that is comfortable and convenient to them, where they are back home and they're more relaxed and they can assimilate more, as opposed to if they are in transit in late hours, if they attend extra lessons in school. So that would be my preference, any day, any time.